Ashley, Banfield, Julie Grant, and Ted Rollins. Get ready. Story number one tonight, the Doomsday Cult Mom, Lori Vallow. We've been calling her the Doomsday Cult Mom now for 4 months in our coverage of this story. So tonight, let's get into that world. Her husband, Chad Daybell, apparently has certain beliefs that have influenced Lori. Ted Rollins took a closer look.
Julie Rowe is a wife and mother of 3 who runs a nonprofit and counsels people on how to get rid of negative energy. She also claims to be able to see into the future.
For me, I have both seen with my physical eye as if it looks like it's happening in real time, or I see it in my mind's eye. There's lots of different types of visionary gifts, and I have several of those.
In 2014, Julie met Chad Daybell. They bonded over their shared experience of having survived near-death experiences and what they believe to be the gift of vision. Julie started publishing books through Chad's company, a publishing business that Chad started with his wife, Tammy.
Tammy was really sweet, really good woman. I considered her a good friend. I didn't talk to her as much as I talked to Chad because she oversaw like the back office stuff with their company.
Then came an ominous vision.
Chad told you that he had a vision that Tammy was going to die.
Yeah, about 3 years ago, way before he ever met Lori, he told me that he had a vision that the Lord had told him that Tammy was going to pass away. And he's actually quite emotional about it, a bit upset.
So when Tammy ended up dead last October, Julie says she didn't think Chad could have had anything to do with it. But now she says she does.
Yes. I hope not. But I have enough, there's enough evidence to suggest that he had motive. He, was having an affair with Lori.
Tammy Daybell's body was exhumed 2 months after her death, and according to this letter from the Idaho Attorney General's office, both Chad and Lori are now being investigated for murder in connection to Tammy's death.
It actually brings me great sorrow. I really love Tammy. I love Chad. They were good friends. I hope not, but the guy I knew wasn't a liar, so far as I knew. And I didn't know that he was involved in some of the strange religious beliefs that have come forward.
Those beliefs that the end of the world is coming in July and that Chad and Lori have leadership roles in the second coming of Christ has Julie concerned that Chad and Lori are not acting rationally. She also thinks that Chad may be concealing what he knows about Lori's children, Tylee and JJ, who have not been seen since September.
I'm not sure how much he's covering up, but I do believe that he knows what's happened to the kids. And I don't know that he will come clean. Nothing is coincidental. And I think there are way too many coincidences going on. And so I don't think it's coincidental. I think there are things that are looking pretty nefarious.
Fascinating look inside this world from someone that actually knew Chad and Tammy Daybell. Let's bring back in Ashley, Ted, and Julie. And Ted, I just want to start with you. You spoke with Julie Rowe, and this is someone who was relatively close to Chad Daybell.
Yeah, and you can see why. I mean, they have very similar beliefs all the way to the edge of it. Julie Rowe is she's a mother, her husband's a lawyer. This is a person that is in her community, and she's an author, but she believes in things that many people think are crazy. She thinks that Chad and Lori are crazy, that they've taken this leap, that they are not who, they just have gone over the edge. And you say it all the time, Vinnie. You don't believe in coincidences, and that really is what she believes as well. There's too much here. They have to have done something.
Ashley, I look at this couple, and it's almost like they feed off each other, Lori and Chad. And to me, you're in that world. They're talking to each other. They're living whatever these beliefs are, and it's just pushed everything way over the edge here.
I think over the edge might be the headline that we should replace that lower third of the screen with right now, because everything in this story is over the edge. But here's the thing, Vinnie. When you are friendly with someone, it is hard to imagine that he or she has done something nefarious, right? And when you are friendly with that someone and his now dead, lovely wife, it makes it even harder to take that extra leap and believe that person's done something nefarious. When you're a juror or when you're Ashley Banfield, it isn't such a hard leap to make. And so at this point, it may be all conversation, but if when this gets into a courtroom, the stuff that you hear will sound nothing to a jury like what that lovely young lady and the friend of Chad said.
Julie, what do you think about the world that Chad Daybell is living in and the world that Lori Vallow is now a part of?
Oh, Vinny, I think I said it once before with you on the show. Chad Daybell, we know he authored that book, Living on the Edge of Heaven. I said it's more like living on the edge of prison for these two. One word, conspiracy. I would not be surprised if feds end up charging a conspiracy here, or state officials. Either way, something is, I would be stunned and amazed if something doesn't come of this investigation. And yes, Chad Daybell, I think the most disappointing, disturbing, sick, sinister thing with him is that he's the one person on this earth right now who could do the most to help JJ and Tylee. The most, more than the FBI, more than any victims advocates, more than search parties, more than canines sniffing around, more than anybody who's looking through their photos of Yellowstone National Park. He is the person, yet he's not doing a thing. What does that say? When you're in a position to help, but you're refusing to? I think the omission there tells far more of a story than we will ever know. What he's not doing speaks volumes.
Let's take a listen to Julie Rowe give us a little more insight into Chad Daybell.
Maybe someone that believes that he really has this role. Maybe he's convinced them that he really has this, authority to do this work of whatever he thinks he's supposed to do. He's been going around to people's houses, having meetings. He's been going around to people's houses, telling them what their past lives were, going around telling people that they're part of the 144,000. And so he has taken on some kind of authority that I don't believe he has.
So Ted, if he's got some level of authority, does he have a following? How many of these 144,000 do you think he has now? And could any of those 144,000, or minus a few, have these children?
Yeah, that's it. Vinny, if these kids are alive, you need Chad to be forceful, right? You need Chad to have actually sucked someone into his world, along with Lori, and now they have these children and they're not saying a word about it. And that would be the best case scenario, right? The crazier he is, the better it is on some level for the odds of JJ and Tylee being found alive, because if indeed there's somebody who is so mesmerized by Chad Daybell, believe it or not, that they are taking care of these kids and not saying a word about it, then that means the kids are alive. Whether that's the truth or not, or whether that's happening, who knows? But that's what everyone is holding on to in this bizarre case.
Yeah. Ashley, Tylee and Lori seemed that like they were close, like they were super close. So is it possible, can we still hold on to the hope that maybe some follower or believer in Chad and Lori that look at these two as, they're going to be our leaders come August 1st, and maybe we need to hold on to their children because they told us to?
So, yeah, it's all crazy. I mean, I just come back to it's all crazy. What is the advantage to having your child out there somewhere being looked after by someone and then staring at a judge wearing jail stripes and refusing to say, "Judge, the kids are with Jane. They're fine. Let me out. I didn't abandon my children. That charge, child abandonment, I don't even need bond. Here are the kids. It's proof that charge is bogus." That's not happening. She's sitting there beautifully made up with, I don't know, jail makeup in her orange prison stripes, and she's tight-lipped. So why on earth should we believe that these children are anywhere safe? At this point, it makes more sense with the aggressive religious beliefs and the far-flung religious beliefs that this couple has, that honestly, that maybe the children got in the way of that. Maybe the children got in the way of leading the 144,000. Maybe the children got in the way of the love affair that would take them to Hawaii. Maybe the children just got in the way. It's happened before.
Yeah, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm looking for just a sliver of hope, Julie, especially for JJ's grandparents, who are really the heart and soul of this case in this search for these children. Do you think it's possible, Julie, that maybe all right, Lori Vallow is in a waiting game. In her mind, the world ends in July, so whatever this judge does or this prosecutor does is irrelevant in a few months. By the way, look around, folks. The world's falling apart already. So I'm just going to do my waiting game, and then I don't have to worry about it. That's why I'm not talking.
Right, Vinny. I think anything is possible. And we've seen cases, we all have, you have, Ashley has, Ted has, we've all seen these cases and covered them where stranger things have happened and folks have been kidnapped, held hostage, tortured, and then been rescued or been able to break free after several years. And we as Americans have been astounded and just thrilled and that, my gosh, who would have ever thought somebody would resurface after so many years gone? So I'm with you. I know you feel that way and your heart breaks for those grandparents and everyone who loved JJ and Tylee so much. And I think we can only hope that they are still alive. And that's been my big concern with the bond with her. I think she should be held with no bond, just because if there is that remote chance that they are still alive and she would want to do them harm if she hasn't already done them harm. We don't want that to happen. So I hope and pray they are still alive. And I think we just need to have faith with all the investigators that are handling this, because we're not getting help from Chad Daybell leading the search party. And we've seen those in law enforcement are very good at solving crimes.
All right, Julie, Ted, Ashley, I know we'll speak again about this. As a matter of fact, Ashley, we're going to do it at the top of the next hour.